Freunde der guten Unterhaltung. Mein Name ist Niko BACKSPIN, ich bin in Budapest. Wir sind auf dem Sziget Festival. Nach 2 Jahren Pause ist es wieder soweit. Eins meiner Lieblingsfestivals, ist kein Hip-Hop-Festival, ist eher ein multikulturelles Alles-Festival. Leute, die mir folgen, können das in den letzten Jahren in den Vlogs eigentlich auch alles schon angeguckt haben. Wir haben uns für dieses Jahr ein bisschen was überlegt. Wir werden hier jetzt diese Woche rumlungern auf diesem Festival. Ich werde euch zeigen, was ich an diesem Festival so gerne mag. Und wir werden auf die Suche gehen nach Hip-Hop auf diesem Festival. Wir haben so ein paar Leute angeschrieben. Wir werden uns in Budapest in der Stadt mit Leuten treffen und ein bisschen über die Hip-Hop-Szene in Budapest reden. Und hier auf den Bühnen auch Hip-Hop-Künstler suchen. Und zu allerletzt sind meine Freunde Audio88 und Yassin hier beim Sziget Festival gebucht. Sziget Festival gebucht. Nicht Sziget, Sziget Festival. Lerne es, Nico. Also, die sind am Sonntag auch mit dabei. Und zwischendurch gehen wir noch Fußball spielen, oder? Gucken. Nicht Fußball spielen, Fußball gucken. Und wir haben noch jemanden dabei. Na? Vielleicht kennt ihr der eine oder andere, das ist der Star von Steuerung F. Der mit den 1 Million Followern.
Ich gehe auch auf Hip-Hop-Suche.
Ja, er geht für uns investigativ auf Hip-Hop-Suche. Ihr seht also ein Potpourri der guten Laune hier. Viel Spaß auf dem Sziget.
Vagytok vasakra, mint hajnaltájt a remiz. Mi meg mezitlábas módszerekkel megyünk neki, megint történik minden a maga módja szerint. Az én fajtám az...
Es gibt eine Sache, die hat nichts mit Mucke zu tun, sondern mit diesem Festival, und das ist dieser Pass. Der Sziget Passport. Der macht dich zum offiziellen Sziget Bürger, wenn du hier alle Reisestempel vom Festivalgelände gesammelt hast. Das mache ich jedes Mal, wenn ich hier bin. Das heißt, du musst das ganze Gelände erkunden und du musst Dinge machen. Das hier ist das Art Festival. Und deshalb, Gunnar, machen wir jetzt Art.
Ja, du malst jetzt da. Er malt jetzt da schön. Jetzt ist da jemand leider.
I have to make art. Okay, Art gemacht. Jetzt hole ich mir den Stempel. Das ist wichtig. Erster Stempel. Hey man, how are you? Good, how are you? I'm good. Guck mal, das ist nämlich auch so eine Sache. Wir fahren, da gibt es Stempel. Wahrscheinlich kriegt man hier einen Stempel, wenn man sich Mucke anhört. Machen wir nicht, Stempel holen wir uns trotzdem. Oder Gunnar?
Ja, ich kann sonst vorsingen, alternativ.
Hallo?
Will er nicht. Okay.
Ja, ich warte drauf. Sing. Ich dachte, du kommst mit singen.
Nee.
Yeah. So. Thank you. This is Before I Die. Ah, okay. Das können wir machen.
Yeah, we have to do it.
Write something on the wall.
Yes.
Something you wanna do.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Machen wir. Before I Die. Hier. Also lesen?
Freestyle, Rapper.
Wer fährt mit Gunnar? Gunnar, wir müssen freestylen.
Was? Irgendwas mit St. Pauli?
Nee, Freestyle sagt schon mit Gunnar.
Ja, aber jetzt ja nicht.
Jo, machen wir nicht. Nee, das machen wir ohne Kamera. Weiter geht's.
Das ging schneller, als ich gedacht habe. Ja, es ging schneller, als ich gedacht habe.
Jetzt du. 1. Ja, komm, lass mal. Nee, weiter.
Speicherkarte ist begrenzt.
Das wird der nächste Festivalbericht, den ich bisher hatte. Also, before I die, I want to stand a bottle flip. Whoa! Jesus Christ. Eine schwere Geburt. Zweiter Versuch. Gucken wir jetzt gleich Breakdance. Komm. There you go. Thank you. How you brought this breakdance thing to this? Is it easy to put breakdance on a festival?
To be honest, you know, this logo, Cypher Town is my competition. I was one of the photographers for the festival in 2019.
Oh, really?
And this is how I get close to the director, to get to know each other. And then he just visited my competition. And now I got an invitation to organize everything there.
It's great to have it here, honestly, and some great guys here. How do you organize all of this? Is it friends of yours? Is it school or
Some of them are friends, but I know Justin Bieber is here in Hungary, so it was easy to invite. And it was just not like a 10-second organization, so it was like months ago we just started here.
That's a funny thing. I love it about hip hop to have people from all over the world just here to get breakdance. How big is the breakdance scene?
Unfortunately, it's not that big. So we are about to be there, but it's still not on the great level. But we are about to make it bigger.
That's good to hear. It's a pleasure to meet you. What's your name? Come on. Oh. Ganz wichtige Regel, immer nach den Fahnen Ausschau halten. Oder nach den Augen. Stempel mitnehmen, egal wofür. Hast du ein Fass? Hast du ein Fass?
Ja, Pass ist bereit.
Immer griffbereit, wo ist er? Wie sieht's aus gerade? Oh, geht noch was. Hey Gunnar, ich weiß nicht, was das bedeutet, wir müssen irgendwie kurz was spielen. Wollen wir kurz was spielen?
Ja, aber das kann ich nicht. Ja, diesen Puzzle lösen hier. Okay, da muss man dieses Puzzle lösen, das können wir doch. Das wissen wir nicht, wie das geht.
Ich würde sagen, wir spielen das kurz.
Aber wie geht das denn gehen?
Du musst auch deine Züge machen.
Ja, ich hab dich jetzt abgehört. Wollen wir hier erstmal gucken? The goal of the game is to get to the other side first. You can choose from two possible steps. Either you take a step with your figure forwards oder sideways, nicht diagonal, or you place eine Barrier.
Okay,
das ist einfach.
dann machen wir. Legen wir los.
Okay, kann man von überall starten?
Gewinner macht morgen beim Breakdance Battle mit, ne? Hi, how are you?
Some help maybe with the...
I
Yes.
think it's pretty easy, right?
This?
It should be, yeah. It is.
Can I stand in every point here? Can I start here?
Yes. As a start.
Okay.
And then, like this, it's technically good to do this now, or?
It's your decision, but yeah, either you move that, one of that, or you move your piece.
Yeah.
And once you put it down, you
But
can...
technical wise, this is a good. No?
It depends. It depends what he wanna do. So
He don't know what he wants to do. So
Can
that's
I remove it?
every
No.
game is
My
different.
next one
No,
as
no,
well.
you cannot. So once it's put down, then you cannot.
And I
remove
can't.
it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
okay, komm, du bist dran.
Ja, wenn ich nichts mache, dann gewinne ich. Wenn ich vorher war.
Und jetzt warte mal, das sind meine, ne? Bro,
Scheiße. Hier kann keiner mehr gewinnen.
Ich weiß es nicht. Das ist irgendwie... Einige wird davon entschieden.
Excuse me!
So. It's a draw?
Turn.
Either any of you removes, goes back here.
No.
Or
It's a draw?
no. Yeah.
Und entschieden einige.
Yeah, that's why I told you it's different strategies with different people.
What about this one? But maybe, come on, I made one more step, so maybe it's my win.
No, it's you have to reach the other side. That's your win only.
Machen wir unentschieden.
Kann hier noch gehen.
So, Stempel verdient.
Haben wir verdient, ja. Rollen wir auch zurück hier. Das war ja der Hammer. Es war aber klar, dass das passiert. Eigentlich war es klar.
Da ist sie. Thank you.
Wieder vorbei, leider.
Have a great day and party a lot, drink a lot, okay?
Thank you. So, was da ganz hinten ist, Niko. Noch ein Stempel.
Das funktioniert auch noch.
Aber ich war ja wirklich schon bei dem Magic Mirror.
Ist das der Magic Mirror?
Das ist so diese Bühne, wo so Kunst ist. So.
Ah, okay.
Zirkuszeug und Artisten. Und ich habe da gestern Stand-Up-Comedy gesehen. War sehr gut. Das ist jeden Abend, glaube ich, 19 Uhr oder so.
What's happening here today?
Here today it's 6:30. There is a show, but I can't tell you which show it is because I don't
But there's
know
a
it.
show.
Yeah, there is a show.
It must be a great show, right?
Thank you.
Freedom.
Guck mal, mach auch Tänzer.
Ja, das habe ich jetzt aber nicht. Ich muss ja nur was essen.
Ja.
Dann tanze ich danach.
Dankeschön.
Oh, guck mal. Es besteht die Chance, wenn du möchtest, dass du deine Zirkuskarriere noch... Also, du kannst doch, wenn du willst.
Ja.
Aber du willst nicht.
Schade, weiß ich nicht.
Okay, das ist schon krass da oben. Also wenn sie, ich weiß nicht, ob sie... Dann gehst du zum Sziget Center und machst ein Foto und dann kriegst du den Stempel rein und dann bist du Citizen of Sziget. Hi. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Nice. Guck mal, langsam füllt sich das. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Stück.
DJ. He's one of the DJ producers of the band.
Cool.
Okay.
The rest is there. How many persons you need now? How many people you need now?
That's the show that actually meet tomorrow, right?
Yes. Aztán holnap meg vagyunk is bőven
This is the Festival. Hi, mate.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Just to say hi, that we meet tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Yes. So the show tonight.
Yes.
Here on the stage.
Kész, feltör, megütőgél, testvér, tudod jó, ha elkezdjük, az se baj, ha hatkor van, ha partik, ha pakolod, nappol a zsapóta, ha jobban csak apróba, a síres helyes, vagy inkább a helyesíres, itt nincs helyes, hamarosan ismét beszélünk, olykor beszélni csak is időre szóltott, most pontosan tudjátok, hogy non-stop toljuk a boltot, hivatás hóbort, szolgáltatás, embered a pénzedem, és hogy lesz ebből semmi, és hogy lesz ebből semmi, hogy lesz ebből semmi.
Sehr spannende Jungs, ich mag das. Merkst, ich weiß nicht, wie es dir geht, aber merkst du sofort so.
Der Vibe stimmt.
Der Vibe stimmt, sind die Leute, ne? Die haben jetzt einen Auftritt nachher, das dauert noch so 1-2 Stunden. Dann sind die dran. Und morgen treffen wir die in so einem Hip-Hop-Store. Das haben wir uns vorgenommen, da werden wir mit ein paar Leuten sprechen, den ganzen Tag da verbringen. Da freue ich mich persönlich sehr drauf. Jetzt lassen wir ein bisschen Zeit, um das Ganze zu genießen. Morgen sind wir im Store und dann machen wir einen Hip-Hop-Tag in Budapest. Neuer Tag in Budapest. Ich bin heute mit Bong nicht auf dem Festivalgelände, sondern wir sind in der Stadt. Denn ich bin schon einige Jahre hier beim Sziget gewesen. Aber ich habe mich noch nie so wirklich mal auf die Suche begeben, wie es eigentlich um Hip-Hop in dieser Stadt bestellt ist. Und deshalb haben wir uns dieses Mal vorgenommen, wir treffen Leute, die für die Hip-Hop-Szene repräsentativ sind. Ich sehe mal deine Schulter. Bist du bereit? Ja. Mal sehen, wen wir treffen und mal sehen, was wir sehen.
Hi, my name is Andras. I go by the name DJ1AB on stage. I'm the DJ for the band called Slow Village. And I'm also doing graffiti from when I was 12 years old. And we have a radio show also together, which runs now for maybe 14 years. Yeah, it's called Sample Temple, and it's about sampled hip-hop and any other music and genres.
Hi, I'm Mishi. I go by the name of Tink. I'm a member of Mulatto, Aztékok and Slow Village, which are two rap groups. I'm also one of the hosts of this radio show, which is called Sample Temple, and I'm DJing a little bit, and I'm also doing graffiti sometimes.
So my name is Fatih. I'm representing the All Caps crew from Budapest, and I'm a graffiti artist turned muralist.
This is Bgirl Rambo, a Bgirl since 2008. I'm a founder of Vibes and Stuff, a studio owner in Budapest, and also a member of the national breaking team.
Hi, I'm Eloy from Budapest. I'm in this writing game since 1996. I mainly make throw-ups and streets.
Hi, I'm Zoid from the DCK and the All Caps crew. Mostly interested in trades, and mostly I like to help in big murals and stuff, but it goes good to go out to the streets. Peace.
Hi, I'm Angel26. I'm representing DCK crew, All Caps crew, and also Sample Temple. Graffiti artist, radio host, and graphic designer, stupid guy.
I know it's very difficult, but can you tell me the story of hip-hop in Budapest?
Hip-hop in Budapest, I think, started with breakdancing. Most of the kids started breaking in like early 80s, like 83, 84, something like that. And then they were also in like national TV, in like, competitions and whatnot. And it was a big thing. Then we still have some huge names in breakdancing, like who became like international champions and now big legends of the game. And after that, everything came slowly, like, a bit of rapping and bit of DJing. I think DJ culture is more from like, the electronic DJing, the disco DJing line, but there's a lot of awesome hip hop DJs and DMC organizers and whatnot in the country. And then graffiti came, I think, around like 92, 93, when it was actually graffiti, not just someone copying something from something, but it actually what they meant was graffiti. And yeah, it's been growing ever since.
It's funny to see that it's the same time when hip-hop came to Hungary, for example. What would you say nowadays? How big is it here?
It's hard to say. We got active graffiti writers. We got meeting of styles like big ass international graffiti jam. We also have well-known rap bands like Slow Village, for instance. They are pretty huge right now. Appearing on a Sziget Festival is kind of big, I think. And also, what more can I say? We got a national breakdance, community, like all the Olympic stuff. So everything is going, but it's slow and small as everything in Hungary. We always have this delay from the international culture of like 5, 10, 20 years. It depends on what area you're looking at.
The rap music became more and more international, even because of internet. Everybody can connect with anybody. And because of, I think, in some countries, they're rapping more in English than in their own language.
We don't have too much English rapping Hungarians.
Yeah, really?
Really. I think there are several guys and none of them really break the ice, really. So
would you say it's more a really hip-hop thing?
I don't see Hungarian headliners in any European festival, so.
No. But do you see Hungarian rappers being headliner on Hungarian festivals, which are not only hip-hop festivals?
I think we're getting there because I can keep saying Slow Village, but it's not because I know them and they're good friends, but they are also one of the biggest names in the game. We got some old school big names, like heavy hitters from also like the early 90s.
Yeah.
So the same people who were the pioneers of this, some of them are still active and still doing it, still producing, still going for shows and everything. But then there's also, there's Criminal Beats. I think I can mention them because they are kind of like the biggest collective of MCs, producers, still doing their shows and still doing their stuff. Like Cool Costco with them as a producer and a DJ is really good. And I see them, I see more DJs on international stages than I would see MCs, because MCs usually rap in Hungarian because of the meaning that's in the MCing. It comes better if you use your own language. I think it's similar in German as well.
Yeah, but in Germany, hip-hop is big. Hip-hop is the biggest culture even in the country, I would say. And the rap artists are even the biggest players on the
Yes, of course.
charts.
It's a different game. This is something I don't see in Hungary ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not mainstream. It's still underground hip hop.
As long as it's not mainstream, I think it's going to be better, actually.
Yeah, you think so?
Mainstream controls you too much, I think. You are too much pushed into something that too many people expect something from you, that you have to change whatever you had in your head because someone's not gonna like it, and I don't want to go for the numbers, but the numbers pay me, so.
I can agree that a lot of rap artists nowadays think very business-wise and all their steps. So
I've met a lot of big names in music business because everyone who came to Budapest, most of them were brought here by a friend of ours, and I pick them up from the airport, and I take them to the gigs and stuff like that. We had long conversations, and most of these you would say real hip-hop artists, even big names like Beatnuts and whatnot, they are not for the money. You can feel that they are still doing it for the love and everything. Of course, money don't hurt, but yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, but would you think that even in this country, it's possible to make hip-hop bigger? Or is there maybe...
It already is bigger than it was. There was a big peak in around 2000.
Yeah.
There was a big peak because video technology became cheaper.
Yeah.
Everyone could have their own videos, and everyone started to grow up from just being a street kid and have their own computers and start playing with music producer toys and video cutting and everything. So it became more professional. And it was big for a minute, and then it kind of quieted down with everything else around the world, like internet pretty much killing everything local.
Yeah.
because everything became global and they couldn't reach that step, I think, especially because they don't rhyme in English and they don't rhyme in German. The ones they do, they usually are not that good in Hungarian, so somehow get, caught.
Okay. Tell me something about breakdance here in Hungary and Budapest, please. How was the scene?
The scene. The scene went through a lot of changes through the last 30 years. We had really high achievements in the 90s in the country, and then somehow there was a bit of a gap you felt in the spreading, because also it wasn't a trend anymore in the media, so less and less people started to start dancing, and there was not much infrastructure. So for a while there was not really new people coming into the scene, and recently in the last 5 years we really see a new change. It takes to a few things. I'm definitely sure Olympic helps with the promotion. We slowly start to feel that people are again more and more interested in breaking and become aware that it still exists. I feel people who were not into the members of the underground scene, they didn't even know breaking exists. Like average Hungarian people had no idea that there were like people practicing every day. Yeah, like people are, like when I said 5 years ago I'm a breakdancer, people were like, what? Is this like existing?
Why you started doing breakdance?
2008.
Yeah, why?
Why? I saw it on the street of Budapest. That was a legendary iconic spot. Yassin, it's a square, underground, and old generation people, really successful b-boys, were always, and bgirls were always practicing there. And when I was 5, 6, someone took me there. It was on the way to Margaret Island, and we were going to the island, and I saw breaking, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do this. Because when I was very young, my family is doing a lot of sports. I was always doing a lot of sports, and this was like upside down and rolling, and something I really like, music, So when I turned a bit older, I really liked funk music, and then when I got to learn hip-hop music, I also loved that. And then I was searching for it. I saw it in movies and, in performances, but less and less. It started to disappear from media, but I was still searching for it.
Yeah.
And then somehow I found it. I found a small dance school outside of the city, and I started going there. And within 1 or 2 years, I became a member of the local Budapest community. We had this huge public practice spot. It was free, and everyone could go there. And that was like sometimes 20, 30 people at practice. It was amazing, really good floor. It was a cultural house outside of the city, really close to the legal wall that guys are talking about. It was Békés megye, and that was really like a hub for these street styles and underground culture. So there were many rappers, writers, and musicians and breakers there.
And then still your profession, right? And also your business now? Teaching breakdance to younger kids?
Yeah, I teach breaking to younger and older people.
Kids,
not older people than me.
Adults,
for sure.
It's funny, It's interesting to see how even this part of hip-hop can take part maybe in the country. Like you said, 5 years ago nobody knows about it, and now it's kind of a trend, or what would you say?
No, I wouldn't say it's a trend, definitely, but we work hard to be present, or like be visible. We do, not just me, other crews in the city. There are some dancers who also teach and try to, spread breaking and do performances also on the countryside. And it's not a trend, it's very far from a trend. Many times people call me like, oh, finally I found a breaking school, so can I come, can I join? I've been looking for this for a long time, and it's so hard to find, they always tell me this. So people still looking for some people, but it's still hidden. But I think we will work our way to, like, definitely it won't be as popular as football, and it doesn't have to, it shouldn't be, it's breaking, it still makes no sense that everyone does it. But I think people will know it exists. People who want to be part of it because they like hip-hop music or culture or this form of art, they will find us, hopefully.
In Germany, we mentioned that even the new style dancing part of hip-hop coming out of music videos is even bigger than the breakdance part. Do we have the same here in Budapest and Hungary, that there's a big part of kids who want to dance new style, like they see hip-hop choreography? Yeah, like they see in music videos, or is this not here?
Yeah,
it's just about
sure, this commercial, I don't like to call it hip-hop, commercial choreography dance.
Yeah. It's funny that you don't want to.
No, because it's not hip hop music. It's not hip hop
Yeah.
foundation. You know, they call it hip hop because that's something people started to do. So now it's a label they can sell their product with or their service. But it's definitely not hip hop, and I think they aware more and more of that. It's choreography dance. It can be sometimes a hip hop music, but very rarely, and it's very popular for sure. And I think it's not a wrong thing. It still moves kids. It's still dancing. It's still an amazing art form, but it's definitely super different what we do. We do have hip hop classes in our studio, but that's more like authentic hip hop foundation, vocabulary, and freestyle dancing, not choreography video dancing. And it's also not super popular. It's still an underground thing, but again, more and more people become aware that it exists, and actually that is something that's connected to hip-hop culture.
What is your recommendation? What is the main breakdance event here in Budapest?
The main?
The biggest one. What is the place to be for somebody who's coming to Budapest if you want to be part of the breakdance scene?
We have a few different events. One of the, this year, the biggest event was Cypher Town, for sure. It was an international breaking battle. And we have the nationals, but that's always just for the country. And we have small events, parties, cypher battles. I have an event called Pacific Funk. And now we will have also some old events coming up again, Fortune Cookie, which is, these events are more about community, music, being together, and not serious competition. So it depends what you like, because the scene, the undergrounds, even within the breaking scene, it's very divided here and internationally too. There is a big group of people who love huge battles, WBC1, Outbreak, and all these giant events that look like actual sport events, crazy screens and sponsorship and everything. And then we have the underground scene, or like the more cipher-based scene that's not about battling, it's not about winning, it's about dancing, expressing, music, being together, and it's also very authentic form. But both are authentic. Like battles have been a part of breaking since the 70s, and also ciphering and just jamming together being part of breaking since the 70s. And then now it's two group. Of course, there is no position in between. You can be part of both groups and go to both kind of events. But you really see that they're both happening here and also abroad.
What's your biggest dream for breakdance?
Me?
Yeah.
It's changing. I still compete. I'm part of I'm a member of the national team. I compete here very successfully, abroad also. I go more and more, but also I'm turning 30, so soon I will be pushing myself towards into artistic expression more and more. You still have a lot to explore in breaking. You cannot learn everything at any point. So I'm still into improving myself, being stronger always, traveling a lot. So breaking is not only about you cannot measure it only with competing and achieving things, but also sense of community, learning musicality, even learning instruments can be a part of your journey. Learning DJing, we usually do all these things.
But is it a dream for you to participate at the Olympic Games?
Yes and no. It's very interesting. I grew up in a family where there were Olympians. My father participated in many Olympics very successfully. He was in his whole life a sportsman, and I saw the ups and downs of it. And also, the Olympic was announced when I was past my 25th birthday. So I always trained hard, but it's a very different mindset just to work like an Olympian. And realistically, in many countries in the planet, there are a lot more infrastructure and resources to push someone to be an Olympian. But definitely I'm training for it, and I will try to do the pre-selections all over, and let's hope we can score at least one spot for the Olympics or two. That would be amazing. We work for it for sure, nationally as a team together.
Thank you. Perfect. That was great.
Thanks.
Wir sind auf dem Weg kurz was essen, dann geht's ins Studio. But you tell something about the place where we...
We need to stop for a second on the next corner because there is a classic hip-hop place, a hub for graffiti artists, DJs and MCs. It's just a small pub called Roots Budapest, but everybody's there who's connected to the culture usually, so that's a special place for us.
It's a place for us, it's a home for us, and it's all these new school guys and these old school guys could meet each other or just drink a beer. A lot of time we spin some vinyls there and make music there. It's,
good to know.
Really, really good place, and made by a friend of us, Robert, who doing much work for the culture.
It's a small pub with a big heart.
Yes.
Sounds good. Also ein kleiner Reisetipp für euch, wenn ihr mal hier seid. Gucken wir uns jetzt an.
The front. You can see also some.
It's closed because of this festival, right?
Yeah.
No,
They had
this.
their own festival in the
that was
few
last year.
in the back few years. Yes.
Yeah, and there are exhibitions here, concerts, DJ sets.
Yes, small concerts.
It was only hip-hop.
Place to be für Hip-Hop-Leute, ich sag's euch.
Here I do the photos usually, but now it's a mess. This is the photo part. Here's the toilet if you need it.
Yeah, sure.
Here's the so-called kitchen. And the studio will be here.
Hier ist das Studio. Was sagst du?
Schick. Ja. Gemütlich. Cozy.
Ja.
This was
Slum Village
Slum
und Slow
with
Village.
Slow Village, yeah.
It's the same party. Great shit.
Ich mag's.
It was good as a guest. I was just seeing it and it's really fun.
That's not enough space you have here.
What?
It's not enough space you have here. So many rooms.
Yeah, because here is a guy who's an artist,
that's what I'm talking about.
but he's painting some graphics here. Because it's all rented out. There are two guys who are fixing guitars.
Oh, that's all here in the same.
Yeah, like many of us. There was
And it's
another.
belonged to András' father.
Yeah,
Could I
the
say
building.
it?
It was his old business, and it was shut down, and the whole place was a mess. And in 10 years, we, renovated it, and with some friends. And for the first time, it was all the All Caps crew had here his place.
Yes.
Because somebody was doing graphic design.
All the paint supply was here, down in the under.
Yeah, in the basement.
In the basement, all the paint.
Was the
spray paint and primers. And
But I will show you because that's a funny place
Yeah,
downstairs.
Yeah, the paint place.
It feels more like anti-war hiding spot, like a bunker.
Okay, please show it Bong right now. This is great.
Yeah.
You like it? Yeah. I like it if you like it.
Schnapp dir die Geschichte, Bong.
Yep.
There's still
So
some
big here,
things
so
there.
this way. And it's messy there, so.
Come on.
Nicht zuerst?
Okay, ich gehe. Komm.
Yes,
I love it.
Legerősebbet iszok, legkisebbet, és majd egy cukorra, de majd csinálom. Something old from Angel.
Wenn ich nicht wiederkomme, ne?
Ja. Hostel und so.
Okay, das.
Yeah. And a few months before, All Caps moved. Here were all the paints, like, and now we have just a few for ourselves here.
But it was more it was a shop or?
No, it was just here. All the paints was
the
here.
paint,
Yeah. And here we had everybody had his own place, but now they're moving out, so we want to make it more clean.
It's crazy. Okay, this is a crazy hip-hop place like this.
Yeah. And these are, when they do like big murals, then there always stays some paint, and they just put it here. And if they go to do a graffiti, then they just pick it up or mix some new colors and stuff. And yeah, and that's it.
Okay, it's crazy.
Can I do a Slow Village tag somewhere for you?
Yeah, please do so.
If you don't mind it, I want you to sign me. This 50th one. The 50th one, and this was
I remember
really
this one.
great influence for me.
And you bought it here, right?
Yeah, I bought it here, and everything what I read it and I saw it on it was my school, you know, those days.
Yeah,
also the graffiti,
Yes, of course.
and also the music, like atmosphere.
Atmosphere
and
is good, man.
there's an article about TY.
You can read German?
A little bit, only just a little bit.
I
I learned German,
there's,
but not much.
There's a lot of connection in German and English, so if you speak English and you read
Yes.
German, you might not understand everything.
I
but there are
felt it
keywords
somehow,
yeah.
I guess.
And now also with your mobile phone on the camera,
Yes.
you can translate.
Yeah, that's right.
It's next gen, man.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, mixed reality and English. Yeah.
Thank you all for all the crew for this. So this magazine is a great influence for
Honestly,
me.
this is not my work, it's the work of a whole team.
Yes,
during
but
decades, but
you are here, you do it now. This is the legit, and it means a lot for me.
This logo is crazy, yeah?
Yes, it's crazy.
Great.
Something that you connect the most with, you know. There's also like, you know, you could sign here, I think.
Yeah, sure. It's funny even that I have that. That's one of the first. It's funny that even I don't look into older magazines.
Yeah.
For years.
I have
And the format of the magazine means a lot for me. And I really like to collect magazines and books, and like books with pictures, like graffiti books and graffiti magazines.
That is big.
You know, today I bought also a book in all caps.
Yeah,
This one. So I really love books, and I collect them, and I miss it. Nowadays, magazines only this DIY stuff, you know, like fanzines.
Yes.
Do you have fanzines here?
Yes.
There are some.
Some artists
do. We usually have that in the store as well. If there's something coming out, they always bring it in because people can buy there, and it's a good place to you know, put your stuff.
I have to buy some later on. Is there a chance to get them?
But only few
at the moment.
Few edits.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
We're also creating one right now, or some of the guys are doing. There's some good photographers, also like graffiti writers, but also take really good photos. And they are also producing something. It's just not out yet. Really nice.
What shall I have to write for Think?
Think or Mishi, but Think it's good.
Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
T-I-N-K.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Think about it. I thought think was
yes.
Well, it's a slang, yeah.
It's a slang, and someone and everybody says it or think about it.
Yeah.
This is the
He's a
meaning
big thinker,
and
but he also likes to
the
think
right
of it.
form.
Yeah, I missed the age in your tag.
Yes,
that's why.
it's no age. It's only about a graffiti name on the letters.
But there's also a word that's thinker. You know,
yes.
when you tinker with
Tinker.
something.
Okay, let's go.
3-as, 4-es.
4-es.
Vagy neked egy 58-a? Vagy az
Itt van az 58 és...
Akkor bedughatjuk erre a kábelre, és...
Oh, thank you, man.
Meg csak rappelek a izéből beletem most is.
Wait, let me flip this.
Óriási.
Misike, gyere te is.
Gyere.
De még csinálni ilyet, még befejezni, okay? Can you act like you're still signing it? Just to make it look natural, you know? I love doing this, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is cool, man. Check it
Great,
out.
great, that's cool.
Misike?
Amiben vagyok, inkább para, mint nyerek. Se szakma, se munka, se feleség, se gyerek. Az idő terek, maga alá temet. Szemem előtt kezem, ez életem 30 felett. Idegen terep, a társadalmi szerep. Alacsony bennem a minden nem igyekezet. Úri némi vagyok, csupán hogy intenzívebb legyen a dolog. De inkább lettem ezektől komoly bolond, mint vidám király, az egész kurva világ forog. Az egész kurva világ pokol. Mohó és komor, a vesztélyben lohol. A nyomor bennem el, a szenvedés. Akár csak néha napján a szebb remény. Rá, la 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 la. Húz a föld, húz túl, és nem lesz jobb a trény, aki kér, oly bár tűnik megfolyt. Oda egy null, ide pont múz, tondult élményeket goldul. Bogyóktól forogtól, a porok forogjon, kezemben mikrofon, ionizált értágkép, gyárkémények és dombok, bedomblok, sűrű erdő mélyén kapált be gombol. Ez elvileg, belvilág, lábnyomod, meddig ér, menni kell, menni még, távlat van mennyiség, egy lépés sem teszek, lebegés, földfelelt, ismerős környezet, mondhatni törzsejem. Buszállomás, vonatpálya, udvar, még fél úton járhatunk, csak én már nomadnám a klubba. Hip-hop, shit, hip-hopság nincs, most más nincs, jobbtán, hitvallás, hivatás, tipródásnak kezd el lentről, kezd el oda.
First of all, tell me something about Slow Village.
Actually, this group was formed on a weekly hip-hop jam session. I had a live band called Soul Club Budapest, which is like the really great hip-hop musicians from Budapest. And we did a weekly jam session in a club. Like every week we had different MCs, singers invited, and also there was some kind of open mic thing. And Tink was our master of ceremony on these events.
I was the host.
Yeah, he was the host there. And the two other guys, the MCs, Nash and Gulash, were just coming down to battle each other and freestyle there together. And in Soul Club Budapest, I was the DJ, and there was DJ Slow, who from the group has his name, you know, Slow Village. And he was a sampler percussion DJ guy, and they met at this jam session. They rapped together, and then DJ Slow asked them to do a song together. And this first song they performed, and everybody loved it from the first time, and the chemistry was real good, and they decided to stick together. And started to do some singles, EPs, and then an album. And I was coming to the picture as I was doing all the scratching on those on the record, and also a lot of samples from vinyls appeared on the record, which I collected and slow used it for the beats, and I did the photos and some videos for the group, and after a while they decided to include me also in the band as a DJ when we play live. So when we are on stage, then DJ Slow puts on and mixes the beats. I'm scratching, and we have a show where we do beats live. He is drumming, and I'm putting on samples from vinyls and play over it, and the guys are freestyling. So that's how we do it on stage. Yeah.
Very interesting. The sound is very, let me say, 90s boom bap sound. In Germany, we have a lot of new waves of new sounds year by year, mixing up international sounds, and boom bap is still there, but it's a small niche. So how is it here, and what's the reason why you're doing boom bap sound and new boom bap sound in the 2020s?
I don't want to say we do regular boom bap style or boom bap stuff, but in Budapest nowadays it's very popular. I don't know why. A lot of young guys prefer this 90s sound.
Yes.
But they not live in the 90s, not grow up in the 90s. They're not close to this 90s culture, but somehow they like it. They sympathize with it. I don't know why.
It's because
we try to do
it's more organic, I think.
International sound or do
lo-fi.
Yes, lo-fi and some.
We also have trap beats actually, and
little bit trappy sounds, this jazzy sounds.
Yeah.
This all depends on the swing. So we try to do this swing type music or good groove.
Yeah,
good grooves.
Actually, we are rooted in boom bap.
Yes.
Because we grow up with it.
In the 90s.
And 90s hip hop and golden era hip hop and so on. But we are open for everything, and also we have bits of trap music, bits of new school kind of beats or wonky beats, so-called wonky beats. But we are rooted in boom bap, and that's not a decision. It just comes from us. Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's partly the sample base that it has samples in there. Most of these are like trap and everything. They usually have like voice samples or noises, more like. But we still like the groove of the fusion of the funk or the soul records or jazz records, for instance.
Yes,
still there. The sample is still there. It's like lo-fi, but it's not even lo-fi because it has a lot of sound to it. So there's sound engineering, not just cut lo-fi stuff. But it's just the sample still has a huge importance in the beat. It's usually not a loop; it's chopped, but it's still being played physically, like someone actually pushing buttons, not like a tracker just going over and over on the 4 bits.
Yeah,
so I think that's
we try to be creative with that, and also we have a deep connection to live music. So we also have a performance when we are performing with a 7-piece live band. Yeah, and also on our latest album we have 2 tracks what we did with full live band. So also we go to that kind of.
Interesting. You were performing on the Sziget Festival this year.
Yeah.
It was the first time, right? Yeah, on the Sziget Festival.
On the Sziget Festival.
And there is more hip hop on Sziget this year, like I've learned. In general, how popular would you say is rap music in Hungary right now?
The form is popular. The form, because a lot of pop music have hip hop or trap elements, or the production or the sound has these hip hop or rap elements. But those musics are not exactly. That's pop music. So the people who listen to radio or search the music from YouTube, so not from Spotify, not heavy diggers, not CD or vinyl buyers, collectors. So they listen this music in the television or see these video clips. It's getting more and more popular, this form, and the dress, the look, the sound, the style a little bit. But it's also pop music, so people don't know about these real elements, which is the movements is going and the work is going deeper.
The production in there, the
production is deeper under the ground.
Yeah.
So sorry about my shitty English, it's hard to pronounce it or say it, but it's really difficult in here, because a lot of people think that know about hip-hop music, or yes, I realize it's hip-hop music. I also listen to rap, and if you ask what he's listened or she listened to it, it's not rap music, it's about popular guys or girls who are come up in the internet on its memes and Facebook pages, and reality shows.
They listen to more Drake than...
Yes. More about these vibes. Know about a little bit about hip-hop, but the history of hip-hop and the roots
it's black
of it.
music. I know hip-hop, it's black music.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's a really small group know about it and realize it.
Yeah. So
and follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ask people, then maybe many would say that they listen and like hip hop music, but hip hop music
like
is just
hip
hop music or rapping is just a form, which pop music is packed in.
It's an attitude, the form.
And not many people listen to what we call, I think, actually hip hop.
Or generally hip hop.
Yeah.
So not what I think about hip hop or Bondi think about hip hop, generally hip hop. We are really far away from Germany about this question. really far. It's so sad.
Yeah, the thing is,
because the roots it's heavy and it's 3 decades. It's 3 decades.
For us, and
for us,
the rest
and,
of the world
and in this country.
Or 5 actually, we're getting close to 5 now.
Yeah, no.
Actually, it was the
yesterday,
50s
August 11th.
yesterday, yeah.
49.
The birth of hip hop.
49th of
because of the more than 30.
No, this is the 50th anniversary.
Next year's 50th anniversary.
Yeah, now it's 49. Yeah.
I guess in Hungary we have hip hop like in maybe 30 years.
Yeah, maybe 30 years.
First, so deep, it
depends on what you consider as hip hop first, because there was stuff in the 80s, but no one knew what they were doing. They were just rhyming over music. And they didn't know that what it is, they just heard it somewhere and liked it and tried, but it didn't work.
In Hungary the hip hop starts like the same way, like, the Fenyő Miki record.
Yeah, it's like one of these...
It was a very popular
rock and roll singers,
rock and roll singer, do an electric boogie or a little bit hip hop sound
kind
record.
Of like the Malcolm McLaren
in the early 80s. He do a record like this, and the youngsters of this country, they are blown out about it and really like it. And
what I say with the breakdancers in the 80s. Yeah.
It starts like this, about a pop record in Hungary.
Hip hop is very political, and it is a speech of the speechless. And from a German perspective, you have a government here in Hungary where you need to raise up your voices if you're not conform with what these guys are doing there. So is hip hop the voice of the people here in this country?
No. I think local, as an outsider, because they are producing, he's rapping, he's DJing and everything. From the outsider's view, you see is like the people who are actually doing this good are not so rapping about the current situation of the government. They rap about more like emotions and experiments and experiences, and they talk more like a political way. But in the deep, it just says like we have issues here, and we're trying to like beat it with our music and with our creation. Yeah. So I think more of that. There's not much anti-political. There's 3 or 4 guys of this, but he knows more about it.
What I think about is that Hungarian rap lyrics are not really political, more social, you know, like talking about how people live and what needs to change. But you know, if you really involve politics like on a daily basis, then it can be, and then it can be really universal. Or for me, it's like, you know, when you say out something, then it shouldn't be just present. It should be represent some more universal thoughts and
not like daily issues.
Yes. But where we can put our mark on these kind of things, we try to, and we try to participate where we can, but we don't want to do like this strict political kind of lyrics, because that's always comes what the guys are writing about and how we make music. It always comes from somewhere inside and from some kind of inspiration for days, most of the times from the music what they hear, and you know, it would be really strict to try to.
It would be too made up, like not original from the heart, because normally, as I think, as far as I concern myself, normally I try to not think of politics and don't get involved. It's more like, you know, build your own community, stay away from the trouble, because everything, the bigger it gets, the more trouble it gets, you know. And I always try to stay away from politics. And what the problem is now is so huge and so daily. It's like it pushes through. Like, for instance, I turned off all like news media and people who were sharing news and football stuff. We talked about this. So I try to delete all this from Facebook, so I don't see it. I have a different feed that I don't see the politics, but politics are so fucked up that they went through, like they fought their way through, and now you see from your friends, artists, producers, I don't know, painters, even sculptors or forest workers, everyone you know is against what's going on right now, and they are trying to share it on Facebook because they have this feeling that this community can be built and people are gonna start following each other more, and you know, it's just also building a little community. Like if Budapest would be out of Hungary, for instance, it's like you have to build this little thing that's still safe and still livable, and this is what everyone is fighting for in their own ways, also by creating or just telling records without talking politics, for instance, to get away from the daily problems and have something more universal.
Do you have some kind of hip-hop festivals here in this country, like meeting points, not only the shop you showed me, or maybe a meeting of style?
Yeah,
or
we do the meeting of
event?
styles, but also there's this pub that I think we showed on the way. They are also doing. They did last 2 years. They had a little festival by the lake, and it was really nice. Like feeling crowd, mostly the crowd of the bar. I mean, we're talking about the pub that raised to a festival or like a little garden gathering of, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 people. Only people, mostly visitors of the pub.
But you don't have a real 3-day hip hop festival.
No festivals, no clubs, no pubs, no magazines, no websites, no nothing.
Yeah.
No,
it's like a clean playground. There's a chance.
It's like you have to build your own playground, but this is, I think, with graffiti, this is where it all started from. Like take over everything and just live the world like it's your playground.
But when you have a dream to come true, what would be your goal for even for the scene here in Budapest or in Hungary? Is it something like a festival, or is it?
I think better people, because better people could do changes.
Yeah.
And changes could build whatever people want to, like festivals, clubs, events, and everything.
There's even no hip-hop club here in Budapest.
Yes,
there used to be, but
I miss heavily event-based club, hip-hop club in Budapest.
My plan was tomorrow to go to a club. Is there a hip-hop club tomorrow for me?
No. You won't find it. If you can listen, you can go to some really poppy R&B stuff maybe, and there
I don't even know if they exist anymore.
Yeah, those ones you can find. But it's not for us. Actually, there are concerts and a few parties, but not many. What I really liked when we were teenagers, it was like without internet and blah blah blah. We had in every month or every second week, you had a huge hip hop party in some countryside city, and all the Hungarian hip hop community with trains. Travel
Kids
to
travel.
that place
Through the
2
country
hours,
for
and
the
everybody
party.
was there. The same people you saw in this end and this end on the next.
Debrecen,
Fehérvár,
Pécs, Eger.
Yeah, so that's
all the major
that's something
cities had
we really
real nice communities of the surrounding little villages as well. So it was like a magnet, and the magnet would go together. It was kind of like with the football hooligans or the football fans, they would call them hooligans, is the fans, that they travel together and they sing together, everything. We had the same with hip-hop. I remember going to Székesfehérvár a lot of times for the hiphop.hu party. There used to be a hiphop.hu with a really huge and alive forum before Facebook.
Yes.
And it was really like a real good community building place.
So if you don't have any festivals, there's another thing you can do, and that's what you're doing, you guys. Preparing a radio show.
Yes.
What's the name of the radio show?
The radio show is called Sample Temple.
Sample Temple. It means it is a holy nerdy show about.
Yes, it's about sampling.
The core of.
It's all about
hip-hop.
the sample. It's originally I think it pretty much connects to we were discussing traveling to the countryside for parties, and like the beginning before the Facebook and after the internet started, we had these forums and we had these chat rooms. And for instance, we had a chat room called Buku, because there was this KS1 record when we said Buku, Buku, all of them massive, and they liked it like B-U-K-U.
Yeah.
So we created this channel, and people who were like-minded, hip-hop heads from the hip-hop.hu forums, not particularly like graffiti writers, I think they were just lovers of hip-hop and rap music. So all these little groups formed and they traveled together. To the, like, I don't know, Székesfehérvár, we go there together with the train, like hundreds of people listening to the same shit, going to the same party, and already starting the party on the trains, obviously. And then from one of these groups and these friendships, one of my friends called Tomek Spacey, he's a part Polish, part Hungarian guy, a really, really awesome guy. And him and I started collecting originals for samples. Like we were listening to music outside of hip hop, and like, hold up, James Brown just said this thing, and I heard this in a Public Enemy record. So we started following this like sampling story, and went deeper and deeper into it, and started collecting as well. And then Tomek went to university, and he met a guy there who worked for Tilos Radio, which is it's a rebel radio from like 30 years ago, but they were illegal radio from houses to houses, like sending out airwaves. And they actually became legal after that. And we have so Tomek was classmates with this guy who worked there, and he told about our stupid hobby. And the guy said, but this should have a radio show. So we went there for an experimental session, and we brought there an hour of music, and we explained what's going on between the music, like playing the original, then playing the hip-hop sample from it, and the radio people loved it. They said they would really be able to imagine that shit as a weekly or a bi-weekly show. And they were asking like, okay, but there's one issue, like how many of these records do you have, or can you provide? And we said we already had thousands. So like, don't worry about it. And they liked what they heard, and then we started doing this in 2009, and it's been going on for 14 years now.
And you had some great rappers as guests in the show, right?
Because we had this cool friend who was bringing all the artists here in the last 15 years or 10 years. He did at least 10 years supporting this, because he was a friend of us, and we never had money issues or money business together. We became real good friends. And with promoters there can be business issues, but we became friends because it was not involved with money. But we were picking up the artists from the airport or bringing them from Slovakia to, I don't know, like Austria with the bus, and Tomek was driving. So we have actual like connection with the people, not just meeting them in the VIP room and getting high together, which is a regular, But it was different, like traveling, spending hours, like 1AB going to a record store with the beat nuts and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's a different connection. And we have some of them in the studio. We had Afura in the studio, and we had guys from the MOP on a Skype call and stuff like that. But we also have, ever since these two hoodlums joined, I think that's been 4 years now or something, 5 maybe. When you joined the crew, with the Sample Tempo crew.
Because after a few...
they were guests first. They were having the Roka EP together.
Yes. We had an EP together with Mishi, and that's what we were going to present in the studio for them. I bring all the vinyls and samples for them, and we were also friends from Graffiti before. And after a while we figured out, okay, we joined the show.
They need to be in the crew. I mean, they need to be hosts, not just guests, because it's one of the things that radio shows been doing besides just playing mixes of originals with raps. Is we invite guests like people from around our friends and musicians and whatnot, and they could talk about, especially like we had old school people coming with their old stories, and they could explain a lot of things that you would never know if they don't come out and tell it in the show. And also we have a lot of new unreleased stuff because of that. People send in their tracks, and we show, you know, we play them, including the samples, bringing the guys in, and always keep guests with it.
We met a bunch of new guys, parties in the web, you know, in SoundCloud or Facebook.
SoundCloud and
we really like to have them in our show.
Yeah,
so they invite them and
we
the non-talking type people just drop a hot guest mix maybe, or we also had live jam in the show, a birthday bash. It was a really nice one.
It sounds a little bit like the place where the scene in Budapest
and this radio is the base and the heart of this electronic and street culture scene, this Tilos radio.
And all the alternative
and all this alternative and this political voice. What should ask us
they are kind of
they are
soft the political part at the moment because they really like the position they are in, and they don't wanna, you know, heat up the situation, but we're also fighting to keep the channel for the next 10 years. We will have to sign a new contract for it, so there's a lot of things in the balance, but it's also everything is turning digital nowadays, you know, because you had the same with the magazine. You had to change to digital areas because that was the way you could actually afford to do. So it's the similar with the radio. So even if they lose the FM, they will still go and be found on the internet because most people listen to it on the internet anyway.
Website radios, yes.
Yeah, and we put all our mixes to our Mixcloud, so everybody can listen back to it if he doesn't hear it.
Because we have the show at Sunday midnight, which means like the end of the week and the beginning of the week. So it's a very spiritual thing, and it's also very late for a lot of people. So they usually listen to it on Monday at work. A lot of people tell me like, I just woke up, went to the office and just put my headphones in and listened to the show, and it was cool because it was really interesting. And you know, you had an amazing section like 1AB just had a Polish jazz vinyl set.
Yes, last week.
And Tomek, speaking fluently in Polish, did some comments to it, and they recorded it, and now it sounds like he's hosting the show. It's really cool.
You did it like a mixtape style. You pitched down Tomek's voice. Sample tempo, Polish jazz, extra.
Special.
So great to hear about all of this, because it sounds like you said a little bit of a kind of scene or kind of things that happening here, which we had in Germany
20 years ago,
5, 10, 15 years ago. So, but it's good to hear that it still works, and there's a place for it, and it's also a chance to get even bigger with all of that. So
I really love to be part of this scene. All my life I want to be part of this.
I think
like the biggest respect for me to be part of the show. Stilos radio, it's, you know, I listen to it like a kid, and all these cool DJs I know back from the days, and
you listen to them and now you work with them technically.
Yes, and literally I do a show in the same room, in the same radio station. It's a really good thing, and it will.
So at the end you have a good feeling for hip-hop in Hungary and Budapest so far?
We're trying to make it the best we can, I think.
A lot of good things happen. I see and hear a lot of good things.
Also, just one thing about the radio, we'll have a show this Sunday midnight if you wanna come and visit us if you're still
A lot of good things.
Live?
Lot of good.
Yeah, we just go in there, have the same.
What time?
From midnight to half 2.
What time?
Yeah.
What time?
It's midnight.
It's midnight. It's Sunday midnight. We usually go there like 20 minutes earlier. And
Wollen wir eine Radioshow mit Nacht?
Können wir uns reinziehen, warum nicht?
That's a good. I have to
okay, with
discuss
that
with him.
I have to leave right now, but
You have to leave and we have to. Wir diskutieren mal aus, ob wir eine Radioshow gehen. Sehr spannender Tag heute, muss ich sagen. Wir haben ein paar coole Leute in dem Shop kennengelernt, wir waren im Studio, haben viel über diese Hip-Hop-Untergrundszene hier in Budapest erlebt, haben jetzt ein bisschen im Tanzstudio mitgemacht, also zugeguckt. Bong hätte beinahe mitgemacht. Fast. Er war kurz davor. Hat sich schon gedehnt, aber da mussten wir leider los. Denn wir gehen jetzt aufs Gelände. Das Sziget Festival ist ja immer noch und heute sind die beiden Hauptacts, die mich wirklich am meisten getriggert haben. Stromae und danach Justin Bieber. Eine sehr spannende Mischung, aber deswegen müssen wir jetzt aufs Gelände. Morgen machen wir noch ein bisschen vielleicht, ne? Mal gucken. Vielleicht treffen wir auch noch Leute. Jetzt erstmal wieder ein bisschen Festival.
Tu es présent, mais pour les élever, il y aura des absents. Lorsque je serai en chante, I can't hear you. With the hands in the air, louder. I love Sziget Festival. Are you ready to go back in there? Quand c'est fini, alors.
Gute Show, oder? War eine super Show, ja. Aber ich habe Angst vor der nächsten Show. In Frage, bleiben wir jetzt genau hier stehen, um uns Justin Bieber anzugucken, oder sind wir nicht so lebensmüde? Er sagt uns, ich weiß nicht. Alter Schwede. So viele Menschen. Aber Stromae war geil, allein deshalb hat es sich schon gelohnt. Aber jetzt, ich habe keine Ahnung. Das Problem ist, ich weiß nicht mehr, wo ich bin, ich sehe nichts. Ich sehe nur Staub und Menschen. Mal gucken, ob wir Bieber noch sehen. Gunnar hat uns verlassen. Ehrlicherweise war er hier als wir. Deswegen hat er schon einen Stempel gesammelt. Uns fehlen noch ein paar. Was machen wir jetzt? Es fehlen noch 5 Stück. Wir haben noch 30 Minuten Zeit. Mal sehen, ob wir es schaffen. Reinhauen, ja. Das heißt, wir müssen jetzt eigentlich eine Runde Basketball spielen, Bong. Schaffen wir das? Passt nicht in den Zeitplan, ne? Stellen wir uns einfach vor, es war ein knappes Spiel.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, ich hab dich.
Und am Ende versuche ich einen Dreier.
Ich block, Monster Dank und gewinne.
Bam, zack, zurück, raus, du an die Dreierlinie.
Bam.
Sieg für Bong. Verdient
That's
auch an der Stelle.
Bottom of the net.
Ja. Vielleicht kannst du jetzt so Szenen reinschneiden, so
ja.
aus so, wo das so ne? So wie das ausgesehen hat bei uns beiden.
Ja, circa.
Ja. Egal, Stempel ab.
Abbildung ähnlich. Thank you.
Aber ich muss schon sagen, das ist geil, was die hingebaut haben, ne? Ehrlicherweise.
Das ist schon krass.
Früher war das nur so ein paar Dinger, die haben hier richtiges gemacht. Richtige Plätze gebaut. Und für deine Freunde Bong.
Lassen wir unsere Hemden an, damit ihr keiner neidisch wird, würde ich sagen.
Okay. So, uns fehlen noch 4. Ich sag dir, Beach wird eng. Wir probieren's.
Okay.
XS-Land ist das nächste Ziel.
Okay, ab dafür.
Ey, diese Ecke finde ich echt immer ziemlich spannend. Und wir haben leider nicht so viel Zeit, das zu machen. Aber es ist so ein bisschen so ein Handicap-Camp, wo du erleben kannst, was bedeutet, wenn du blind bist, wenn du Rollstuhl fährst, du kannst Rollstuhl-Basketball spielen. Du musst dich hier durch so einen Irrgarten nur mit so einem Blindenstock durchspielen und so. Das ist ziemlich krass. Und ich finde das so geil an diesem Festival, dass sie auch solchen Dingen so viel Raum geben. wie vieles andere, aber wir gehen zum nächsten, denn wir haben noch 15 Minuten für 2 Stempel. Auch so ein Thema darf hier nicht fehlen auf diesem Gelände. Hier geht es offensichtlich um einen guten und gesunden Blick auf unsere Welt. Und ich finde, das ist ein Stempel wert.
Auf jeden Fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Komm, einer fehlt uns noch. Einer fehlt uns noch.
Dann
Strand. Wir haben 10 Minuten. 5. Komm.
ab dafür. Raus.
Jetzt finden wir gleich raus, ob dieser Teil vom Sziget Festival wie eine Behörde arbeitet und um Punkt 18 Uhr den Stempel fangen lässt, oder ob es wirklich Island of Freedom ist und man so eine Karenzzeit von einer Viertelstunde hat, um Stempel zu kriegen.
Ich hoffe doch. Das war der Weg umsonst. Perfect.
Congratulations.
There's one is missing, the last one.
No,
just. Yeah,
But
sure.
I have all.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
So, einer fehlt noch. Gameland Hub. Da haben wir jetzt ein paar Minuten mehr Zeit. Aber wirklich mal am Strand, das wird dir gefallen. Einer fehlt nur noch. Der letzte. Gameland Hub. Eigentlich brauche ich jetzt Gunnar, um einen auszuspielen, ne?
Eigentlich ja. Muss
Aber
doch
der
in
ist
der
ja
Nähe
weg.
sein.
Dann versuchen wir den Stempel erstmal so zu kriegen.
Was geht ab?
Dankeschön. Offiziell mein letzter, ich hab's geschafft.
Ah, jetzt kann ich auch Preis abholen.
Offizieller Citizen.
Jetzt bin ich offizielles Mitglied.
Nice.
Wir müssen offizielle Mitglieder der Stadt Sziget jetzt werden. Wollen wir das jetzt machen?
Stadt werden? Max?
Mitglieder der Stadt werden jetzt? Jetzt
Ja.
sofort?
Gut.
Du hast auch alle Stempel?
Aber ihr wollt wahrscheinlich noch Pause machen.
Nee, ich muss das durchziehen. Wir müssen
Okay,
durchziehen.
dann ziehen wir jetzt durch. Du hast ja auch Vitaminwasser getrunken.
Okay, sagen wir, wie es ist.
Ich guck mal das Geschenk an.
Das ist ein bisschen lang, ne? Gunnar?
Dann bleibe ich lieber Citizen of Hamburg City.
Ja. Doppelstaatsbürgerschaft ist keine Option in der Stelle.
Das Geschenk ist, wenn sich das lohnt, dann.
Wir können mal gucken, Max hat sich hinten angestellt, der zieht durch.
Lass mal das Geschenk angucken, was man kriegt und sich das lohnt.
Ja.
Kaum vorstellen. Und nur einen Aufkleber hier reinkriegen ist wieder. Guck mal, ich hab's schon.
Ja, offiziell. Wir werden jetzt, Gunnar, du hast die ganze Geschichte kaputt gemacht. Wir werden jetzt offiziell, ne, alle Stempel gesammelt. Wir sind jetzt offiziell.
Da kann ich mal eine Dreckwäsche reinmachen heute.
Zack, 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 zack.
Aber da hinten sind die Beutel geiler.
Offiziell. Thank you. Es ist quasi wie das Starterpaket als Sziget Citizen. Was kann man damit machen?
Ich weiß nicht, ob es eine Riesenunterhose ist oder ob das ein Beutel ist. Aber ich mach da meine Dreckwäsche nachher rein, die ich mitgenommen habe.
Du könntest auch die Körbe damit sammeln, die du auf der Tasse gekriegt hast. Wie auch immer. Wir sind damit offiziell wieder Sziget Citizens. Jetzt müssen wir weiterarbeiten, denn jetzt kommt das eigentliche Highlight. Audio88 und Yassin. Bist du dabei?
Nein.
Okay. Hab ich mir
Wir
gedacht.
verabschieden uns jetzt. Vor der Kamera. Aber nachher machen wir das nochmal ohne Kamera.
Es war mir eine Freude. Das müssen wir mal machen. Können wir mal bei den Dings kaputt zu machen hier.
Das will ich auch mal.
So, zack. In diesem Sinne, jetzt Audio88 Yassin. Ja.
Dass ich euch mal irgendwo reinholen kann, wer hätte das gedacht?
Moin, hi. Na, alles gut?
Ja.
Sehr schön.
Einfach hier dieses Jahr alle.
Ich merk schon. Was hast du denn da für eine verrückte Agentenkamera?
Ganz geheim, getan.
Ja.
Mit der hört da alles mit. Was wir jetzt sagen, alles wird aufgezeichnet.
Ich kenne das bei dir. Das Interview geht immer sofort los. Man denkt, man wird gerade verkabelt, aber eigentlich ist es schon das
Schon fast vorbei.
Ja. Jetzt machen wir einen Schnitt. Ja.
Moin. Hi.
Wir haben uns schon gesehen.
Auf jeden Fall, ja, beim Interview und so.
Was habt ihr?
Moin, hi. Bongo, hi. Moin, hi. Bongo, hi.
Hi again. You remember me? Yeah, of course. Kamerakind Yassin gerade. Finde ich gut. Wenn du Lust hast, kannst du bei uns einsteigen.
Kamerakind, top.
But it says mute, is it right?
No, it's not. It's not muted. It's all working. So.
It's working?
Yeah, sure. Läuft? Nee. Ist das Beste, was man haben kann, kurz vorm Auftritt, ne?
Ja. Am besten filmt dann noch jemand.
Vorbereitet? Alles vorbereitet?
Ja.
Läuft's jetzt? Ja? Ich merke, Bühnenoutfit auch an. Das kann's ja losgehen.
Wir hören dich gar nicht.
Ist auch umso besser. Schön, das heißt, ich kann die jetzt voll quatschen, ohne dass sie mich verstehen. Hey Audio, rap mal wieder wie früher. So, wir gucken mal, wie das jetzt hier läuft.
Das ist das Wichtigste, einmal Schuhe richtig festziehen. Alles andere ist egal.
Okay. Wenn ich sag Egge, sagt ihr Schegge drin. Egge!
Schegge!
Wow. Das kann doch geil werden so. Ja. Und weil ihr Regenjacken anhabt, ist es nicht so schlimm, falls mein Bier ausruht. Egge, Schegge!
Egge, Schegge! Egge, Schegge, drin!
Alles, was wir für heute wissen.
AKA interlinguales Vokabelheft.
Ich bin richtig aufgeregt, obwohl ich gar nicht auftrete.
Da ist wenigstens einer.
Ihr versteht mich ja doch, verdammt.
Ja, jetzt gerade, weil kein Beat ins Ohr ballert.
Okay. Sind ein paar Leute da? Ich glaube, es werden immer mehr und ich glaube, sie haben Bock. Gute Voraussetzungen, ne?
Die Lichtsituation ist jetzt auch.
Habt ihr euch geeinigt, auf welcher Sprache ihr hier ansprechen wollt?
Beides. Kanakisch.
Ja. Junapot heißt Guten Tag.
Also Ungarisch werde ich auf jeden Fall skippen.
Du machst das Ungarische, ne?
Pushta-Soße.
Ist das deine Playlist?
Eigentlich nicht von ihm.
Ist deine Playlist?
Ja. Es gibt keinen besseren Song, um ein Konzert zu starten.
Stark.
Jetzt?
dich finden. Audio 88 und jetzt in dein schlechtes Gewissen. Es ist nur eine Frage der Zeit, bis wir dich finden.
Sziget, vielen Dank, dass wir hier heute spielen durften, dass ihr alle hier wart.
Ohne Scheiß, man führt auch eine Riesenliga für uns.
Richtig geil, wir hatten ein bisschen die Befürchtung, dass wir hier vor 20 Leuten spielen.
Erhebe niemals die Hand gegen deinen Nächsten, es sei denn, er bewegt sich zu langsam auf dem Gehweg oder redet gleich einer sie.
Mein Name ist Mickes. Ich kann leider nicht da sein, aber ich kann diesen ganz normalen Shoutout machen, indem ich euch alle zwinge, auf die Knie zu gehen. Geht alle runter, alle runter. Berlin, auf die Knie, verneigt euch für den einzig wahren Partypriest von Audio88 und Yassin. Alle runter. Du da hinten auch. Du da hinten auch. Alle runter. Und jetzt gleich. Sieht so aus. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hat's Spaß?
Digga, das ist jedes Mal ein Fest. Jedes Mal ein Fest. Aber seid ihr zufrieden? Die Leute waren geil, oder?
Ja, war voll geil.
Ich glaube, die brauchen eine Zugabe. Habt ihr noch einen Song?
Nee.
Alles alle, ne?
Einen hätte ich noch. Aber wir haben einen Kühlschrank voller Getränke. Tschüss, das war's.
Backspin.